They are. Uh-oh. Hold up. Okay, he's down here for some reason. Let me reorder this. The Lancer classes. Impaler. Few notes. He does not have his 3A. He is a synergy. And his damage is mediocre, and I don't think his weapon is anything special. So, Impaler, I think, is D or C tier. I could see him in C tier because synergy, and I don't know too much about his weapon. Like he has good AoEs, and he can grind pretty well. So I feel like he's not that bad, and he has a lot of potential for his 3A. But he's a synergy. I'm putting him in D tier. Skirmisher. What do you mean by synergy? Synergies are they're DPS characters, but in addition to that, they give a 34% non-stackable buff to everyone in your party. The problem is that synergies generally do a lot less damage than a lot of DPS characters. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They normally do less damage, and they normally have more utility. Yeah. So it's much easier to get into endgame parties, but their damage is low. So yeah. But I think he's in D tier. Like soloing with synergies is kind of suffering sometimes. Depends on which class you are. Skirmisher, I think he is also D or C. I think he's D. Yeah, unless you play Omni. There's a few that are good. But Omni or Skirmisher is kind of shit. Like he has a good canceling mechanic, but like my man has no mobility and he doesn't get any movement speed, and he's really reliant on attack speed. Like all of his attacks are faster if you have attack speed. You can do your entire burst rotation in like actually 12 seconds, 12 to 15 seconds. It's crazy. You have so much extra time at the end. This character actually does have a few problems outside of like his kit. He needs lower cooldowns. His range is good, his super armor is good, his AoE is good, his damage is okay for a 3A class or for a non 3A class. So yeah, he's gonna go there. Dragoon, I think, is better than Skirmisher. I think Dragoon's damage is a little better than Skirmisher, and he's also pretty good at grinding. I don't believe there's anything wrong with Dragoon's kit. I think it's mostly just good. He just needs his 3A. Really, all of the Lancers just need the 3A. Vanguard S tier, I'm refunding. Okay, Grant, time to refund your sub because Warlord is probably one of the worst characters in the game. They don't have high cooldowns. They have okay cooldowns, but the problem is that you can dump your entire kit and you just kind of sit around doing nothing. He has good AoEs though, and his damage is super low. If this was a potential tier list, then he would probably be S tier, but like this is not. This is just a regular S tier list. So my man is staying in F tier because he's shit. These characters all need help. They need their 3A like ASAP. Brawler. Male Brawler, I think, is a solid C tier. Yeah, Male Brawler, he's eh. He's eh. Honestly, none of the male fighters are really good except for Nen. His damage, I think, is okay. It's good. It's not too hard to get out. He has okay AoE. I think he's a bit slow though, and that kind of sucks for this cap. Being slow in this cap is not good. They need to be saved. Yeah, they do. Male Grappler. D tier. I feel like if I'm considering everything, then I have to include party play and not just solo play, and this character sucks in solo play. Like, at least female Grappler has a heal turn, so not everything is a grab, but you will whiff so much. His damage isn't even that good. He is a synergy, though, so yeah. And I think for my last tier list, I was putting holding a little too high. Like, having a lot of holds is nice, but it's mostly just quality of life. It depends on your class. Like, if you're Alvin Knight, having holds is super nice, but if you're not Alvin Knight, then most classes don't need too many holds. Nedmaster, probably S tier or A tier. I don't actually remember how good his damage is at a high tier. Yeah, fuck it. Let's check Dunfa off right now. Oh, actually, I can't really check Dunfa off. That's not going to work out. Because they changed a lot of the weapons, and I don't know if his weapons got changed later. Either way, right now he still hits really fucking high, and he's pretty consistent about hitting it. Oh, oops. So yeah, I'm just gonna put him in S tier. I'm gonna put him in S tier. I think he's just solid overall, and I think he's also pretty fast compared to the other male fighters. And he has good AoE, so I think he's S tier. Milnen -1 point for the gauge crap. I mean, he'll be fine, dude. Yeah, Milnen's kind of OP. Male Striker? F tier. This character is some shit. Maybe D tier? Maybe D tier because he has his third awakening and he has low cooldowns. But like otherwise F tier. This guy's really shit. My friend is a Mil Nenman. He recently found out that his Zerkalt does more damage. As that Zerker's high though. Like Zerker's really fucking high damage. Mel Nen's super high too. I don't know if I should put Male Striker into D or F. He's garbage. And like we are in a slightly sustained meta, but like most things in this game right now, you burst. You burst 90% of everything. It's just Sirocco one part, so I don't think sustains really matters outside of there, and their damage is still low outside of it. Yeah, I'm putting him in F tier. Male Launcher. I think Male Launcher's pretty good. Here's the thing, though. If you suck at him, you're going to miss 90% of his kicks. Yeah, you're going to miss a lot on him. He's pretty hard to play. I think, like, all of the strikers in any close range, like, very close range characters get, like, a huge disadvantage in this cap because everything moves so much, which is why I think Male Launcher's in B tier. His damage is good. He has, like, a mini deuce because it gives +2 to his awakening. And he has a lot of range. But the problem is that it's very hard if the boss is moving. If the boss is moving, you can say goodbye to a lot of your damage. So I think he's B tier. Mech, I think is A tier. Or B tier. I think he's either A or B. He has a lot of burst, and we're not at a sustained meta again, so his burst is really helpful. And he's just really fast to get his kit out. He's just really fast. I'd imagine he'd be pretty good with cooldown reduction. I could put him in B tier, but he doesn't suffer as much with moving bosses as much as the keyword. Male Ranger, I think is either A or S. He's really good. Male Ranger's pretty good. He, like, for moving bosses, it's not, the only problem is for Deathhawk. So it just makes Deathhawk a lot harder to land. But I think if you know mechanics well enough, especially for Sirocco, you can wait until a boss is doing a gimmick where she can't move. So you might have to wait a bit for Deathhawks, but I think it's 100% viable to get all of your skills out. I'll put him in A tier for now. I'll think about that though. Spitfire is kind of doo-doo. He's going in C tier. He's not like terrible because he has good sustain and his third awakening gives him pretty good burst. So he's not terrible. Yeah, it's not like the worst. The problem is he doesn't have any utility. So kind of leveling him up and getting 12/12 is a pain in the ass because no movement speed, meaning your dash attack is much less useful. No utility. He's losing a lot of damage if he gets hit out of his few skills. But you can also like kind of put out your skills pretty fast. I mean, his X string is okay too. His weapons kind of suck though. That'll change later. Just get War God Mythic. If only it were that easy, dude. Luckily, a lot of sets give you move speed and stuff, so he's not like completely disabled from that. But still, Going conditionals on him can be a pain sometimes. His third awakening is really strong though. Like just the skill itself is really fucking strong, and he has installs, which is also useful. So I could put him in B tier too, but I'm gonna put him in C because, in my own experience, it's not the most powerful. Blood Mage. That is Blood Mage, right? Yeah, that's Blood Mage. He's D tier. He's not really strong or anything. He has holds, but like holds aren't too useful, and his damage is really low. What's keeping him from F tier is that he's just. Oh, actually, he does have Annihilator, so his damage is a little better because of that. But he doesn't have his third awakening. I think his third awakening makes him really strong, so I could put him in C tier too. But yeah, I think for now he's D. He's D. Dimension Walker is C tier, probably. He's fixed. He does a lot of burst damage. It's not too hard to hit the boss, but the problem is that some of his install skills take a while to complete. So it can be kind of hard to get some of the damage out. But his burst is really high for a non-third awakening class. I don't know. Maybe D tier. Yeah, his 3A cinematic's really cool. But I mean, we don't have 3A yet. Like, this is just considering our own region now. I think Dimension Walker's okay. His cooldowns aren't very low, but they're not very high. It feels like a lot of his skills do less damage because of his third awakening being really high, though. And he has to manage all of his stacks, which is kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, I think I'll put him in D tier. Put him in D tier for now. He's not that good. Elemental Bomber, I think, is okay. I think people sleep on him a little too much. You have to remember that for all of the mages, they have access to broken weapons. So, like, they're going to get really good with their 3A. And Elemental Bomber is no exception. He uses Staff. Soon it'll be buffed with Luna Benedictio. But even then, he could still use Flaming Hell if he wants to. I don't think he has a mastery. Does he? Let's check. DFO. I don't think he has a mastery. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like he has a mastery. Okay, well, either way, he has low cooldowns. He has strong sustain. He can just kind of keep eating out skills, but more importantly, he has a lot of AoE, so it's not hard to get out his damage. Glacial Master, I think, is also C tier. Um, maybe B tier because their damage is actually pretty good right now, even for a non 3A class. They have okay AoE. It's not really anything big, but like he has fast skills, so it's not hard to hit moving bosses. I think he's overall really solid actually. I might put him in B tier just because he has a really solid kit and he has access to Flaming Hell. Swiftmaster is a solid F tier because that character does no damage. Maybe D tier though. Maybe D tier. He's not like 100% disabled. His kit works for the most part. He's fast. He doesn't do any damage though. Yeah, no, he's going in F tier. He doesn't do any damage. Period. Um, Avenger is A or S tier. I think he's A tier. I don't think he breaks the damage barrier for S tier. Maybe. His third awakening is good. He has huge fucking AoEs. He's fast. Very solid kit. There's honestly nothing really wrong with Avenger. And he has like a fucking revive pretty much. Like he'll lose damage if you die, but like he won't use a token, which is huge. You can always retransform later. So I think he's S tier. Exorcist, I think, is C tier because he has, or maybe B, but he has high damage, but like it's hard to get out. He has a lot of installs too, but it's kind of hard to get out his damage because a lot of them just take a while to go through. And if bosses move out of it, you kind of say goodbye to your damage. Monk is really fucking strong. I'd put him in S tier. Monk's just really strong. I have like nothing else to say. Like everything hits really hard, everything's really fast, and there's not too many installs. He has good mobility with duck and sway as well. You can move out of the way pretty fast, and if you're good enough, you might even be able to iframe some skills. Yeah, Monk's pretty good. Monk's pretty fucking good, especially because he gets his buffs later. Milsator, top tier. Well, actually, I mean, yeah, I think I have to put the satyrs in S tier because they're literally required. But like male satyr kind of sucks. Yeah, just put all satyrs in S. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I have to do. I mean like male satyr kind of sucks. Like he needs help. If you look at all of the other satyrs, male satyr just misses out on too much. He doesn't have the heals that the other ones have. He doesn't have. Yeah, male satyrs are budget friendly. That's true. That's true. But like in terms of actual output, he doesn't. From what I hear, he doesn't scale really well because of his ascension stacks. They're based off of raw stats, so he doesn't scale too well. But like even after that, he doesn't have heals. His res is shit. His utility is shit. Yeah, fuck you. You're going to A tier. The more that I think about it, I'm just like he's required and everything, but man, this Mel Sater is just a pain in the ass to play. Like I've been in a lot of runs where we have a male satyr and it's just like, well shit, our party's gonna wipe because this character doesn't have that much utility to help out the party. And then you look at the other satyr and it's like, well shit, they got a lot more. Like even speed sins are more useful than him. Fucking knight's more useful than him or a lightbringer. Uh what do you call this character? Indra? Azura. I don't know why I was saying Indra. Azura. He's solid. He's fixed, so he can literally use any weapon. But his damage isn't the highest. A is fair if female sitter gets 3A. That's true. The streamer completely forgetting about the monstrous DPS that is Battle Satyr. You can keep telling yourself that, Grant. Okay. I mean, Male Satyr, Battle Satyr is viable, but eh. Um, Azura, I think he's solid B. People overestimate his damage. Like, because I think what happens is that, like, they look at +8 refine and how free it is to get, and then they compare it to the other DPS classes which don't have +12, and it's like, oh, this character hits really high, but in reality, they really don't. This character doesn't hit that high. They're like mediocre damage. Yeah, but they have good AoEs, and it's not hard to get the damage out. It's just that their overall damage actually isn't that high. I could nah, I think he stays here. Berserker is an easy S tier. This character is fucking busted. Fixed class, by the way. Still does as much damage as like, or very close damage to Vagabonds. This character is kind of ridiculously high damage. Also, really good cheating death gimmicks. Like, I don't understand why they gave him so many cheating death gimmicks. Yeah, good budget friendly class for money making, even for maining. Like, this character has a lot of AoEs. So many sellers with this class. He's just really good. I want to make a Berserker. The only thing that's stopping me from making one is when I try to make one, it felt like there was like a small delay between every one of his attacks. Like you use the skills, you went through a small animation, and then the attack came out. Weird blood theme? Hell no. Blood theme is expected for an anime game. Zerk is my secondary main. Yeah, he's a solid main, dude. It gets better 3A. It gets better 3A. I don't know, dude. I think Berserker's just too good. He's too good. He has so much cheating death gimmicks too, and he's really fucking fast. He doesn't have to worry about other classes or other bosses moving. My main character is an F. That's a GG. Okay, you have to keep in mind most of these characters down here are because they don't have the 3A. With the exception of the fighters. Those are kind of shit anyway. Omniblade is an easy S tier because this character hits like a fucking high tier DPS and is a synergy while you're at it. Does not suffer from moving bosses, by the way, and they're relatively fast. Based off of DFOG, yeah, this is only DFOG. My last tier list was based off of Korea, and I'm like, this is stupid because the updates aren't out for us. And when people look at it, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna do blah blah blah, and that might not be good for a while. Thanks for the follow, Tragic. So yeah, this is just based off of for DFOG. If I made one for Korea, I'd have to keep updating it because like they're getting the balance updates and the 3A and all of that. And my only information is really based off of the top charts and Dunfaw. I can't really figure too much else out. Ghostblade? Alright, controversial opinion right now. He's A tier. Controversial opinion. Maybe a little biased because I have a Ghostblade geared. But like, I think Ghostblade in this cap is kind of carried by Taiji. His damage actually isn't that high. Like, it's very consistent because it's so fucking easy to pull off, and he's super fast. But his damage is actually not that high if you don't consider Taiji. And then if you do consider Taiji, it is pretty high, but it's still not on like the tier of Berserker in them. It's just super solid to get his damage out. I mean, Blade matchup that takes a lot of gear to be fun. Blade Master or Battle Mage? Also, I don't think Blade Master takes too much gear. He's very easy to crit cap. I guess if you want speed, then yeah. Are you taking epic weapons in consideration or not? Flopping back and forth? Yes, I am taking epic weapons in consideration. What I was gonna say is Taiji's good and all, but like the problem with Taiji's is really just the movement speed. Like the penalties you get from it, I don't know anybody who stays in permanent Taiji's. Like the only time you can really stay in permanent slow mode is if you have like a female satyr or a Hecate and you have massive speed increases. Otherwise, like the penalty is literally too high. Like Ghostblade like thrives on movement speed because being able to attack and dodge at the same time is super powerful, and it makes sense that his damage is lower because of it. But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know in the Korean population charts he's an S tier, but I think he's gonna fall off pretty soon, or eventually. He'll fall off eventually. He's still a super solid. Yeah, that's the other problem. Like I find myself with my Ghostblade, if you can't burst anything, you kind of sit there for like 30 seconds, waiting for your skills to come back up. I guess it's not too much of a problem. His lower level skills are okay. There's just not enough SP to go around for it. I don't know. I can maybe put him in S tier because of his utility, but yeah, I mean, aside from damage, he is literally like probably the best kit in the game. Like I'm trying to figure out who has a better kit than him, and I honestly can't think of anyone else. He just has too solid of a kit. It's too good. Anyway, moving on. Soulbender, C tier. That character kind of fell off. Maybe B tier, but he's a percent. Yeah, I'd probably put C tier. Well, actually, but he does have his utility. Like being able to dodge is super useful. Like with his dash attack, being able to iframe, especially if you're good at using it. And he does have some pretty good AoEs. It's just that his installs make it harder to get some damage out. I can maybe see people arguing for B tier. I think he's C tier though. He's not that good. His damage is not too high. Kunuichi, solid F tier. This character both needs their 3A and that epic rework, and then they're like probably B tier. But even after that, like her problems are gonna persist through the cap, and they're too big. It comes with a door S tier easy. Okay. If only it worked that way. In that case, Dimension Walker would be fucking S tier because his Third Awakening's lit. But yeah, Kunuichi has some underlying problems that they never solved with her 3A. Or didn't really solve it. I mean, you can't really solve it. Like her kit is just bad for this cap. With all of the moving bosses, it's just super hard to get your max damage output. And when you do, it's not even that high. But with that being said, she is a pretty good grinder. Like if you want to do Stormy with her, she's pretty good. So maybe D tier, but like other than that, she's not good. Necro is also a solid F tier. Necro really sucks right now. That character does not function, and their damage is super low. Oh, dude, once she gets her 3A, I think she becomes solid. Like she's like a solid B tier after she gets her 3A, maybe A tier. I think B tier is pretty accurate though. Um, yeah. I'm thinking about Kunuichi being a D tier. Maybe we're gonna put Dank Knight. When we get to it, we'll get to it. Rogue is D tier, maybe C tier. C tier. I'm putting her in C tier. Why? Because her damage is really fucking high. Like it's crazy. She is probably the most damaging non 3A class right now. It's just ridiculous how high her damage is. He is a top tier damage dealer, but as soon as you get into a party, she becomes shit. Yeah, 1 point extreme. Perfect. Dude, she just can't function in parties, dude. I mean, her 3A is gonna help a lot, and I'm gonna probably put her in S tier once it comes out. But like, she doesn't function. Like, if she functioned, I'd probably put her in B tier. And even then, she's only in B tier because she doesn't have her Third Awakening. But like, you can also switch because you have Dagger Mastery and you have Dual Blade Mastery. You can switch between going Burst and Sustain like Vagabond can, and they're both very viable. Like Flashy Trick, insanely broken. Sharp Shadower, also insanely broken. Like those are top tier weapons. She has access to both of them, making her really good. Like not only do her weapons support her, her damage is also just high, and she has quite a few iframes because of grabs. The only problem is whiffing. Like the only thing keeping her from going up is just whiffing. She's fun though, and she's really fast. Uh, Shadow Dancer. I'm either gonna put her in C or D. C because she's a synergy and she does high damage for a synergy, not like insanely high, but I mean high damage for a non 3A synergy. I'll put it that way. But not having a 3A is kind of big. She has access to Sharp Shadower, which is really good. Um, she honestly doesn't have too much of a problem with moving bosses. Like if you know what you're doing, most of the time moving bosses aren't too much of a problem. Like you just have to wait out some skills. Otherwise, you can go do holds. Like if you know what you're doing with this character, it's not too big of a deal. But she also suffers from a lot of lag with her grabs and stuff. So I think she's C tier. She's solid. She's solid. It's kind of suffering to grind with though, so maybe D tier, but she's just solid. I believe this is a Hitman. Yeah, this is a Hitman. Yeah, this is a solid F tier character. This character's shit. If I'm putting the other speed synergy in here, then I have to put Hitman in here because this character is like honestly, it might be worse damage than Lightbringer, which is super sad. Speed sins are not in a good spot right now. So he stays F tier. Yeah, dude. Okay, I can't put all of the agents in F tier. Nah, Hitman is really bad though. Hitman's super shit. Uh, Secret Agent, on the other hand, I think is solid because he can just like his kit's really solid, his talisman's really solid. He's good. Hitman's good, and he has or not Hitman. Secret Agent's really good, and he has a very solid case for investing in now because 3A is going to be nice later. Probably. He's a high sustain class though. He has a lot of uses for talisman shoes, and his talismans are really good. So he's solid. He's also pretty consistent in dealing damage because he's always attacking. I kind of want to make a secret agent because I want to do like cooldown reduction memes on him. I don't like downtime when I play classes. I like swinging 24/7. So he seems like a cool class. But yeah, he's solid. Troubleshooter or not troubleshooter, specialist is not good. Probably F tier. Honestly, like literally all of the agents are bad. I think maybe troubleshooter might be D tier, I think, but like none of them are really good. I don't think their weapons stand out either. Let me check real quick. Oh, actually, oh, hold up. This is actually super nice. What? I didn't realize Adamantite Odachi gave you +1 to all of your skills. Damn. You're telling me this class has good weapons but is still shit? Hold up. Oh, wait, no. There we go. Okay, just gonna. Please save. Yeah, fuck it. It's just gonna stay like this, dude. Okay, there you go. How do you have this good weapons and then just like like how do you have this good weapon and then like not do damage? That doesn't make any sense to me. You literally have a deuce. You have an actual deuce weapon and you're not doing any damage, and then you have a Starry Ocean right here. Water damage, shadow damage, skill attack. Oh, actually the skill attack's kind of low on this one. +2 to some of your skills, including your third awakening and elemental Eleanor. How is this character doing such little? I know because no 3A, but like there are non 3A. They're like there are non 3A classes that do good damage, like Rogue and Shadow Dancer. How do you have such good weapons and do so little damage? That doesn't make any sense. That's garbage, bruh. Yeah, his low base damage is definitely it. Oh god. Maybe I should make a hitman in preparation for in like a year when he gets his third awakening, and I'll be ready. His weapons are godlike. What? Okay, but actually, he's just gonna be put in F tier. That character's shit. He has a lot of potential though. So what you're saying is Hitman can be S tier? Yeah, he can be S tier. His third awakening comes out. That's literally all he needs. He has a god tier weapon. I think his kit's overall really solid. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just that he's a speed sin. Just to make Hitman his own tier category, I could. Man, that character's some shit. The problem is he's a speed synergy, so he might have access to a really good weapon. But I think even as a speed synergy, after his third awakening, assuming it's good, he'll probably be B or A tier. Like his weapon's gonna carry him up there. It's still surprising this character's so shit though. I didn't realize he had a good weapon. Anyway, creator, A tier. Same with Dark Knight. Nobody plays these characters. Nobody plays either of these characters. They're both so. Everyone who plays Dark Knight is a whale. Everyone who plays Creator is like 3 people. I see more Dark Knights, and they're all like really top tier fucking characters with +11 amps. Looking at you lifting in Chaika. I don't know actually if Chaika plays them, but looking at you lifting. It's all of the top tier Dark Knight players. Dark Knight's really good though. He has super good sustain. I play DK and I'm not a whale. Yeah, don't lie. Don't lie to me like that, dude. I know you're plus 12 amped. Plus 14 weapon looking ass. Don't lie to me. Dark Knight's busted, bro. This character has like 5-second cooldown on his fucking cube skills. Like, I remember my first day meeting lifting and going into his raid, he was flexing his DK stats, and his top rated skill was on a 7-second cooldown. Not a whale, just a masochist. Or masochist. Bro, this character is so good. And, like, he can use some of the shitty sets, like Path and stuff. Like, he can make full use of cooldown reduction sets, and he can also use, like, the burst sets as well if he wanted to. He's very versatile, and he's just a good character. Imagine if he had a 2A. No, 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 no. You can't make a better character than Vagabond. That's illegal. Creator, on the other hand, is also really good. Um, Time to start a DK challenge for Recon. I wouldn't actually mind playing DK. Yeah, I think it would be fun to theory craft on him with different builds. I tried to make a DK once and I just gave up on leveling. Too many other characters to level. But Creator, on the other hand, I don't think it's as high damage as Dark Knight. But like, okay, not S tier for breaking your mouse. That would be SS tier. But like, she has super good sustain, like crazy. Honestly, probably the best sustain in the game. But the whole thing is that she can use it from anywhere. Like, she can be away from the boss and she can be doing sustain. You don't actually have to be next to the boss. And that's super good, being able to control your movements independent of attacking. That is insanely powerful. Like, that is actually crazy. And on top of all of that, she's a fixed energy. So she's not even useless past that. Um Female Brawler is like a solid C tier. She actually does some pretty good damage and she has some pretty good sustain, but we don't need sustain quite yet, and her damage is really hard to get out. Like, yeah, she needs a lot of speed, and like being able to X string the boss 24/7 is not always doable with moving bosses. So she suffers a lot from that, and her kit's kind of hard to put out sometimes. So I think she's solid C tier. I kind of wish I made a brawler. I think I would have had fun with her. Grappler, honestly, either D or C. Female Grappler has her third awakening's kind of strong, but she doesn't do that much damage. She's a fixed energy that doesn't do much damage. And it sucks because like you have a character like Witch who does like 10 points for boob art. If only, dude. If only it was like that. I want Grappler to be good. She has a lot of holds, but so does Witch. And why does Witch get to be like an S tier fucking character, but Grappler has to suffer? I don't like it. Grappler kind of sucks. I want Grappler to hold me. I want Grappler to hold me. This character is fun. I like her a lot. She's not as disabled as male Grappler, and I think their damage is probably on par. But like, she's kind of unsafe, honestly. Yeah, they need to really buff close range melee characters. Because the problem with female Grappler's kit is that she can pretty much permanently be in iframes, but if you miss a grab, like either due to lag or just you being bad, like you're probably gonna die. She's not very, she's not very tanky. Like you're just gonna get hit up close. You need to know how to chain your grabs, and even then, holding is not always consistent. Like sometimes bosses will be doing moves and you won't be able to hold them. So it's not like you can just randomly do a fucking hold. You have to make sure you chain hold them. And yeah, she's very ping reliant. So I think for DFOG, she's not that good. I would debate putting her in D tier, but honestly, I don't have too many problems getting holds out in parties. If one dude's really laggy, then I'll have problems. But if it's mostly like 100 to 150 ping, it'll be fine. Um, then Empress, I think, is a solid B tier. She provides pretty good party utility. She has strong burst, and her kit's really easy to put out. Very big AoEs, very fast grinder, and she's a speed synergy, which is a plus. Like her damage isn't the highest, but she does a lot of other things really well. And they gave her good burst, so that's good. It kind of sucks though when you run out of cooldowns, and you just kind of suffer. But at the end of the day, she's still a speed synergy, and her damage isn't that high. Female striker, I think is a solid C or B tier. So here's the thing about female striker. She gets buffed later because her weapon gets like a 10%, 10 to 20% buff. I forgot what. It's somewhere in between there. I think it's Blaze Hunter. But I mean, she has low cooldowns, and her kit's pretty easy to put out. You can whiff in parties sometimes, but I think if you have a good mastery over your class, it's not too bad. It's not like you need to get hit confirms 24/7. Yeah, her the screen shaker. Yeah, she got a lot of that. I don't know. I don't think she's terrible. But like it's upsetting to put her on the same tier as female brawler because I think she is a little better. Maybe put her here. She's a little disabled, not that disabled though. I mean, if I were to do that, I feel like I should put female grappler into D tier though. These two characters are not on the same tier. Their weapon also, I don't think female or fighter weapons are too good. I think there's a few that are okay. Clear Will, like the Nens have good weapons. I know that much. The gauntlets are kind of shit. They're not good at all. The Claw Road of Pain is okay compared to other OP weapons. Electro Booster is okay. The Tonfas fucking suck. So yeah, the fighters just don't have access to good weapons. I think that 3A is overall solid though. It's just no good weapons. I don't know. I'll put them on the same tier though. This character does get buffed later, so this makes sense. Kite is one of the best for female. Well, yeah, because female grappler can use anything. Kite is actually not bis for her. In like most setups, I think Rotopane is better. Later on, they buff Kite though, so Kite ends up being as good as Rotopane, and it's faster. So, yeah, the strikers don't have good 3A damage. Female striker is definitely better than male though. Male striker is really bad, dude. He's really shit right now. But yeah, female grappler can use anything. Road of Pain is pretty much bis for her. Aggressive Kite, I think, is bis after the rework, and I think she can use. I believe she can use Clear Will. Clear Will is also really good, and it gives you Elemental Eleanor, so it's good if you get bis enchants. Female Grappler has access to Clear Will and Road of Pain though, so that's fine. And I think the fighters get buffed later with their weapons, so yeah, I think overall right now though they're not that good. Female Launcher? Solid D tier. Maybe C tier. She actually has some pretty okay damage right now because her weapon's super solid. Where is it? Overqualified Rise. +2 to all of your awakenings. That's pretty solid. Some good skill attack too. Is this after KDNF series or for our version? Our version. I made the mistake of making a tier list for KDNF 3As last time, so now I'm just doing our version for a good reference. I think Revolution Charge is also okay. I think it even gets buffed later, so it becomes much more viable, but Overqualified Rise is a mini deuce. Regardless, she can't really use it too well. I mean, it'll help, but I don't think she's too good. Female Mechanic? I think she's also a D tier. She's not that good. I think her weapon is okay, though. Mega Shock Launcher. I think she uses this. It's okay. It's nothing special. Millstriker really F tier compared to other non-3A classes? Yeah, Millstriker's really bad, dude. Millstriker, I think, lost damage after his 3A. Can't wait for the glasses buff for female mech. Yes, sir, dude. The glasses buff. Everyone's horny for that. Mech's that's okay. I mean, she has a safe kit. It's kind of boring from what I hear, but like, it's okay. It's nothing too special. Ranger. Honestly, Ranger's just kind of the same as all of them. She's not extraordinarily high. I mean, she has Deathhawk, so there's that. Like her Deathhawk's really strong. But the fact that neither of these classes or none of these classes are getting a 3A soon kind of sucks. Like compared to the agents, and like the agents aren't getting the 3A for a while, and the same with the Lancers, which is one reason why they're so low. These two characters, Necro's really shit right now. She is one of the worst damage dealers. Kunuichi has problems with her kit. Have I seen female spit 3A? Yeah, I keep track of all of the 3As. Female spits, bro, she's definitely my favorite one. I love her third awakening. Speaking of which, she's F tier. She's really bad. Her damage is really low and she dies fast. But she's fun. She's really fun to play. She's one of my favorite classes to play because she's just, bro, you become an AC 130. Who doesn't want to become an AC 130? Just dropping bombs everywhere. She's so much fun to play, but she's really shit. She's fixed on the bright side. But yeah, these three characters, eh. Also, her weapons are really shit. That's like the other big thing. Ooh, bowguns are in such a bad spot right now. Bowguns are among one of the worst weapons. They're on like the tier of Tonfas. They're super bad. They get buffed later, but they're really bad right now. She summons a spider to blow it up every time she 3A. Oh, really? I don't think I noticed that. I just noticed the scenery. I really like the scenery for her 3A. But moving on. Okay, hold up. I need to make sure I get these classes right. This is Witch. This is Summoner. This is Enchantress. This is Elementalist. And this is Battle Mage. I think I got that right. Okay, Battle Mage is an easy S tier. She literally hits like a Vagabond. It looks cool, but it doesn't make sense. Oh, I just remember she summoned a lot of bombs for her third awakening. That was a big part of it. But yeah, Battle Mage, S tier. Straight broken class, dude. Broken ass weapon, does so much damage, huge AoEs, really fast, doesn't struggle with moving bosses. She's top tier. Elementalist, I'm gonna put A tier. She has high damage, really high damage. She has good cooldowns. They're not really low, but they're not like extraordinarily high. I don't think. And like she has access to really good weapons. And yeah, she's a little slow to move with. The problem is that some of her like here's the thing about her, okay? She has huge AoEs, making it so that if you know how to use your skills properly, you can usually hit all of the enemies, even if they move. But if they do move out of it, then you kind of say goodbye. She's good. She's really good. Don't get me wrong. She's really good. Her damage is top tier, but her kit is not up there. Like all of these characters up here have extremely solid kits. Most of these characters here, they usually have like the damage, but there's like a flaw or something with them. She's honestly like very close to S tier. If this was ordered, she would be up here, very close to S tier. She'd be high A tier, but this isn't ordered. I'm just kind of putting them down. Enchantress is an easy S tier. This character is busted. I don't know what Nipple was thinking, and it literally makes no sense what the fuck they're doing with this character. How are you gonna give, like, yeah, honestly, she's fucking double S, dude. Fuck this class. Why is the S small? There we go. That's why. Bro, fuck this class. That's what I'm saying. God damn it, Nipple. What are you doing? How are you gonna give the heals that female satyr has, and then the buffs that male satyr has, and then literally the best res in the game? All it uses is dull stacks, and you can use it 4 times on anyone. I believe it's 4 times. It might actually be more than that, but I believe it's 4. This character is busted, dude. This character is so busted. Not only do you not have to select people to heal, like male satyr, you can just heal everybody. God, this company is lolly biased, and I hate it. Why is Witch top tier but not female grappler? Please. Yes, and Yukiron is so busted. Why did they put everything good about the other classes? They just put it on her. She also has grouping, and she has I completely forgot about the house too. Like they just made something where you can bypass gimmicks. This is by far the best satyr. There's literally no question about it. Like she is on another tier. They just gave her everything. They looked at all of the other satyrs and they're like, okay, I'm gonna combine all of their kits into one person, and it's gonna be a small 500-year-old lolly. And that's exactly what Enchantress is. All these satyr players are bad. The alts are always bad, but the people who actually play the class is insanely good. Hecate was garbage though, remember? I don't know. I didn't play the game when she was garbage. She has been fucking broken forever now. This character's busted. Not only that, but like even if we get into hard content where you need big buffs, she's still going to be really good because she can buff one person to be extraordinarily strong. Got a tap on Serposa. Dude, this character's so busted. She needs nerfs. Like I'm not even kidding. This satyr needs a nerf in some way. She's too strong. This character and female priest, like if your female priest has enough buffs, both of those characters make this game literally free. You don't have to think, you turn your brain off and you just hit everything. Put male satyr in S. I don't think male satyr is in S. I failed a lot of dungeons because we had a male satyr who didn't have the utility to help us. I don't think male satyr's in S. Like he's obviously needed all the time, but I think it's fair to put him in A. My man, he has quote unquote the best buffs, but apparently they don't even scale that well. Yeah, he does make the entire party still do multiple times damage, but like honestly, at this point I'd rather have a female priest without her third awakening than a male satyr. Just the fact that she pretty much guarantees that the party's going to stay alive all the time is huge. Not to mention that she can res, and it's just so much better, dude. He's just on the lower end. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But like male satyr's very, very low end. His heals are garbage. Like I honestly think that Lightbringer can get better heals than male satyr. He goes from top one to top three. Not quite. But like even the speed synergies provide more than male satyr because the speed synergies at least make everyone fast. I don't understand why is it that Enchantress can make everyone really fast, but then male satyr can only do it with one buff that you have to apply on like a 40-second cooldown. It might be 60 actually. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, yeah, he's still mandatory, but still, this character that class sucks. Like you get more value out of everyone else. It's literally just the fact that he's a satyr that he's good. I don't think he's S tier though. All things considered. Yes, he's still going to be needed, but like I mean, think of it this way. Most of the time you're going to need a synergy, but there are still synergies in low tiers because they're bad. Just because he's a satyr, it's not going to carry him to S. Yes, he's still needed, but like if I were to go with anyone else, I'd want either one of the other satyrs. Male satyr sucks and he booms parties. Yeah, 5 minutes spent buffing him. Honestly, I don't even think that's too much of a problem. He's clunky and he sucks. He needs help. Like he needs. I don't know if I'd say a rework, but he needs a. No, actually, I'd say he needs a rework. This character sucks. Anyway, moving on. That was my little rant on buffers. I hate all the buffers in this game. They're way too overpowered. They should make them optional and give them damage. This game doesn't lack satyrs, it lacks strong satyrs. DFOG definitely lacks strong satyrs. See all the bag satyrs that get into Sirocco? It's a lot of them. He did get a rework. He needs another one. I know he did get a rework, but he needs another fucking rework. Like, if you're gonna make everything about him really shit, give him the best buffs in the game by far, like no questions asked. Because right now it's comparable to Hecate, and even female priests can get Arya up 24/7. Always blame Satyr if you can't clear fast enough. Honestly, that's 90% of the issue. Because most people have Satyr alts and they're not that geared. So you get in with like 24k buffs in Sirocco, and it's like, shit, we don't do any damage now. Isn't that what it is now, though? Doesn't Male Satyr have the higher potential? Apparently, the way his Ascension stacking works, it means that as we get more stats, he doesn't scale as well. But in addition to that, like, he does have the highest quote unquote buff at all times, but female priest can get Arya up a lot, and that's still really strong. And then Enchantress has the favoritism buff, which is super, super strong, especially right now with our meta of having like one person carry the party. Because right now, how it is you have a Satyr, you have a Synergy, neither of those classes are doing damage. Then you have two DPS. Most of the time, you have one really broken DPS and then another okay DPS. So you just favoritism the broken DPS. That's just how it is right now. Even in Sirocco, you just have like a plus 11 amp in green party just to carry him. Yeah, before Male Satyr, he was worse, dude. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. At least they homogenized him a bit. Anyway, moving on. Saint's advantage comes from Infinite Fountain, but it only shine in long fights. Yeah, which you generally don't have. And even then, the other satyrs are still better at resing. Like, female priest can just res the entire party and use one life token. So that's pretty much 16 tokens. His, you have to wait. I'm new to DFO. Thanks for the info. You're welcome, Astro. Nice new to DFO plus 13 amp. Okay, Summoner, she's pretty shit. I don't think she has good burst, and she did not get buffed that much. And as of right now, the staffs are not very good. Luna Benedictio is okay. It's solid because it gives +2, but like, I think its conditional is kind of cancer to use. Other than that, it's just solid. And it gives you extra cooldowns. Pretty sure Male Satyr has fountain limit. I think he does have a fountain limit, actually, yeah. I believe he does. I'm not 100% sure. You hear Vagabond is the weakest class? You heard right. It's 10 per life. Okay, yeah, you're never gonna reach that high. The problem is that his res is just too high of a cooldown. Anyway, Witch is S tier. She's easily S tier. She's really easy to play. She has big AoEs. I don't think she suffers too much from. I mean, she does suffer a bit from moving bosses if they move out of her skills, but I think if you can hold properly, it's fine. And her damage is really high. She's fixed, so she gets access to all of the broken mage weapons, which means if you wanted to do like a weapon swap with Flaming Hell and World Tree Spirit, you could do that. Mage weapons are just blessed. They're all blessed. So yeah, she's just super top tier. She's a holder too, and just speeds in. Like, what do you want from this class? She has everything. Inquisitor right now is, I want to say F tier. Like, she has good utility and she's a good grinder because she can group everyone, but she's kind of garbage, man. Yeah, she has no damage, and I don't think her weapon's that good. Let me look at it real quick. I think she uses a not fighter, priest. She's into speed sin. Did I say she was a speed sin? Well, I didn't mean that if I said that. She's not a speed sin, you're right. She's she groups a lot, but she is a synergy. She uses second trace of Volcanus, which I don't think is that good. Oh, actually, you know, the weapon doesn't seem that bad. Continuous damage 10% for 3 seconds. That's not terrible. But yeah, she's not high damage at all. She has good holds and grouping. She has all the utility, but her damage is really shit. Yeah, her damage is really garbage. So I don't think it's fair to put this character any higher. I mean, she's a synergy at the very least, so you're gonna be a sin bag in like every party. Mistress is like D tier, maybe F tier. Mistress doesn't have too much problem with her kit. She's just really squishy. She has good grouping, okay grouping, and a lot of holds. She has so many holds, dude. Yeah, it's a very good modifier. But yeah, her grouping is okay. It's good, but her holding is insane. And she's a synergy who can switch to a DPS. The problem is she's really squishy. You can't get hit with her, and I don't believe she has that many iframes. So yeah, that's her. I don't think her weapons are good either. Loose reasoning is what most people use. Yeah, I don't think her weapon's too good. It might get buffed later to be better, but right now it's not that good. Uh, yeah. Female Cider, she's S tier. She's really solid. She might not give the best buffs, but you don't really need the best buffs anymore. We don't have any extraordinarily challenging content, so you can kind of just get away with small buffs, but like have all of the utility you need, so you don't wipe your party, making it very good for Soroka and Oculus Hard. It's always nice to have a female priest, especially for Oculus Hard when Azura does his little wipe gimmick. You can just use one token and res the entire party. That's really useful. Um, really her only problem with her res is that there are times where if people are no, actually it's not even too much of a problem. If people die too spread apart and your satyr doesn't res them for some fucking reason, then you're gonna waste 4 life tokens, and that's kind of a problem. But with that being said, that's mostly the satyr's fault. Shaman, I think Shaman is a solid like D or F tier or D or C tier. She's not shitty enough to be F tier. I don't believe her rosaries are good though, so she might be. I might put her in D tier. Rosaries are pretty meh. But with that being said, her utility is really strong. Like the fact that she can eat damage out of her ass is really crazy. She's cute though. Everyone gets horny off the female priest, bro. My friend made a very good observation. Every single person who dresses up their female priest always has their toes exposed. And right now, there's like an that fact has held up 80% of the time. Anyway, really good utility on her. She doesn't die, especially with the ancient, was it ancient memory something? Ancient sacred creatures memory. This 30% HP and makes you invincible for 2 seconds. Like she has heals out of her ass. She has damage reduction out of her ass. She has good range. So, and I don't think it's too hard to hit moving bosses with her. So I think overall she's pretty good. She's pretty solid. Dark Templar. She's pretty solid. Because we haven't gotten the weapon buffs, she has like permanent. No, it's not permanent 80% damage reduction. 80% damage reduction is on her 80% damage reduction is when she uses her burst damage reduction. I think it's like it's still high. It's like 40 to 60, I believe, without maxed everything else. But yeah, Dark Templar, I don't think she's B. She's like A. She's B or A. She does good damage. Oh, but she does kind of suffer with some of her skills. Really, it's just one of her skills with moving bosses. I think she's still A tier though. She does good damage. Her kit's not too hard to use. She's a synergy and she does good damage. Like that's pretty big already. But she's still a synergy, and you're probably not going to get too much damage out because of that. I don't think it's fair to put her on B tier because she definitely does a lot more damage than Nen and most of these other classes. She's good. She's good. And her utility is really solid. Like even if she doesn't hit as high as Omniblade and Witch, her utility makes up for it because she has a lot of good holds and grouping. And huge AoEs, making it pretty hard to miss. I have one at 80 and she's fun to play. Yeah, and then her utility for getting out of jail, her what is it, like Shadow Step or something, where she like goes invincible pretty much. Super good skill. Yeah. Demon Slayer, I think, is S tier. I don't think Demon Slayer's sustain is good. Berserker's S tier nicer. Yeah, Berserker's S tier for sure. Oh, it's 31% damage all times. Okay, well there you go. But Demon Slayer is good because she has a lot of burst, and I mean, we're not in like a hard sustain meta because fighting Soroko itself is only sustain. So I think overall she's just more useful because of her burst. And for anything else, she can always just use a mind stimulate and get her cooldowns pretty low. What was that your mythic you got today? I got a Break of Dawn mythic on my Alvin Knight. Then minus 50 for 3 seconds after getting hit with a 30-second cooldown. 81%. Yeah, there you go. I mean that helps a lot because if you're getting hit, then it can help avoid wipe gimmicks. Like let's say you get hit really hard, then you can avoid wipe gimmicks. Don't make fun of my Elven Knight Astro. Don't make fun of her. Only I can make fun of her. I feel like this is necessary. I have 4 mythics on her now. I have literally 3 top tier mythics, and then Fateful Shout, which is probably going to be top tier later. I don't know what to do with this. Anyway, Demon Slayer's really good. And she might fall down later because when we move to a sustained meta, but like she's just super solid right now, and pots can make up for a cooldown reduction. Swordmaster, I'll definitely S tier. Very good burst. You can switch between going sustained with Kasims and going burst with Deuce, or you could just use a katana or a short sword, mostly just short sword for sustain, and she's still solid. Her crit's easy to get. She has huge AoEs. It's not hard to land anything, and she doesn't really suffer too much from moving bosses. Yeah, Demon Slayer has okay low level skills, but most people just spec into the high level ones for big burst. Where's SS for 3A Crimson Rose? No, this is based off of our own. This is based off our own server right now. No 3As for whatever hasn't come out yet. So we're on Female Priest later. So yeah, shitty classes stay shitty. Anyway, Vagabond, S tier, maybe even SS. Vagabond's kind of broken, obviously. Like she has access to Deuce, farming content with a new tier list every update. I mean, I'll update it, but like, okay, the main reason why I'm going back to do this is because it's stupid when people look at my tier list and they look at like the future 3As, which are changing still. So I just want to do a current one, and I'll probably just update this whenever new content or new 3As come out. Below F minus. Oh, actually, hold up. You're right. No, wait. I don't know why that doesn't work, but just so I'm going to take a screenshot so I can use this as clickbait on the YouTube video. Actually, I'll do it myself. In fact, better yet, I'll take a screenshot of this and then put question marks up top for the true clickbait. Anyway, Vagabond's fucking dude. She's good. She's really good. She's kind of carried by her weapons because she has access to 2 of the best weapons in the game. Starry Ocean. I have to put Hecate in F tier 2 along with Omni. No, just Vagabond. Just Vagabond. Any more than that, then it's obviously a troll. Or actually, hold up. This is even better. Gonna take one more. All right, I gotta make it look like I actually put Vagabond in F tier. What is Femlock in tier D? Time to block this dude. You block me and you don't get any mythics. We must defeat the Slayers. I'm hip. Slayers have too much privilege, dude. Slayers need to be deleted. Other characters need to be brought up to the power level of Slayers. They need better kits and they need more damage. And I'm talking about the other classes, not Slayers right now. Anyway, Vagabond, like, I feel like I don't have to explain this, but she has high sustain because she has access to Starry Ocean. She has huge AoEs. She's fast. She has no problem hitting moving targets. And she has access to Deuce for Burst. The Slayers are broken, dude. Like, literally the only two non-broken Slayers are Azura and Soulbender. But all of them have solid kits. Anyway, Chaos. Zerker was trash when I used to play. I think Zerker was trash before. I don't know if he got a rework or not, but he definitely got buffed since. He is very, very good now. He's top tier. But like all of the Slayers are fucking broken. Except for those two. But like everyone else is they have solid kits and they do a lot of damage. Like if you look at a lot of the older classes, they have faults like Ranger with Deathhawk, Alvin Knight with Chain Rush, all of the fighters with their low range. Why is Rogue tier C? Because she does high damage, but like it's hard to pull off. Like if she could pull off her damage all the time, I'd put her in B tier, but like she can't. She's dead inside dungeons. You can survive with Rogue. It's just that it's hard to get all of her damage out. Bender was shit in Nexon days, I think. Now he's consistently great. I mean, Soulbender got buffed in 95 cap, from what I remember, and he was broken, and then he got nerfed, and then people overestimated him too long. You have to understand when characters get buffed and people put a lot of materials into them, they'll still say they're good because they're like plus 12 amped and shit. But then they actually look at the base class and they also look at the new cap with different weapons, and it's like, oh, this character is actually not that good. But Soulbender is right now is just meh. His damage is insanely high. I think the big problem is also short swords are meh, but he can use Taijis too. Look at Monk in tier S. Hibernation, where are you? Oh, Monk is at S tier. All right, let's go and finish this list. Chaos. D tier? Maybe C tier? Probably D tier. I don't actually think Chaos's damage is that low. I think it's okay. It's like meh. It's nothing to write home about, but I think it's kind of inconsistent sometimes. I don't think she struggles too much with moving bosses. Really, it's just her 3A. She needs her 3A. And also lagging everyone is kind of a big negative. But yeah. Also, I don't think it's right to put her into C tier if I'm going to put Dragon Knight in C tier, because Dragon Knight is the most solid character in the game, in my opinion. Like, not broken or anything. She's just super solid. She has okay AoE. She has okay grouping. She has okay holding. She has extraordinarily good defenses, and she has okay damage. And she has access to every Slayer weapon. She's just extraordinarily solid, and if you invest into her now, you'll probably be rewarded later because she's going to become really good later, in my opinion. She's not really a sustain class. Yeah, not too much of a sustain class. I mean, her lower level skills are good, though. But she's still really solid. Like, if you play Dragon Knight now, wait 6 months and you'll probably be broken. Just the fact that you can use Deuce. Alvin Knight is another character that could be solid, but, like, she's disabled. This character is straight disabled. Like, she's fine on bosses you can hold. If you can get, like, let me show you right now. Let me show you right now. DK Awakenings are garbage. Just her 1A, which is going to get replaced by 3A. Her 2A is fine. Look at this. If I just, like, if you can land this skill, then you're fine. You can land all of these. Oh. Oops. Like, you can land all of these other skills in the time that the boss is held. But, like, if you can't land that one skill, then it's just so hard to land the rest of your other ones. So, Alvin Knight is kind of disabled. Like, they put too many conditionals on her. You have her hit conditional, you have your DDR conditional, and then you have your chain rush conditional. And all of that, if you get 100% of that down, your damage is still mediocre. So yeah, the only reason she's in D tier is because her damage is mediocre, and it's not like the trash tier of these characters. Like even right now, I can still land a lot of my skills as Alvin Knight. I don't know. I could see her in F tier though. She's really bad. Lightbringer is also a solid D tier, mainly because she's a speed sin with really low damage, but her utility is fucking great. She has huge heals. She doesn't die because of her shield, and she has huge AoEs, which are not really affected by bosses moving. It's like she will pretty much always get 100% of her damage out. Honestly, the only problem with her is that later when we go on to an actual sustain meta, she's going to have a big problem with her lower level skills because her lower level skills are really bad. None of them are like every one of them has shit hitboxes. It's really hard to land them all. Like even the ones that I use right now, they're not that great. Like this one takes way too long to do. This one, you have to have the boss in the same area, and it has kind of a small hitbox. And then that skill, that one's actually not too hard to land. But yeah, Lightbringer, are you accounting for lag in this tier list? Yeah, pretty much. That's why Rogue isn't higher. Rogue's damage is really high, dude. It's just that you can't ever get that damage out. At least not fully. But you can compensate in some areas, like you can use different skills that are more functional. Still, Rogue isn't in the best spot. Her damage is probably the highest out of the non 3A classes right now, though, comparable to Hitman. It's just Hitman's much more consistent. So that's pretty much my tier list. That's my character tier list. I don't really have anything else I want to change. Highest DPS in the game is impossible to get there. Yeah, pretty much.